Pat the designer thinks that the Chicago Bulls could make the playoffs. We're going to talk about it all and more on today's.
That's pretty good.
Locked On Bulls. I do a good impression on that.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Hayes, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central, YouTube pages and podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. With that said, though, Pat, you said something, a hot take last night after the game yesterday on the live stream, which I think caught a lot of people off guard. There is some logic behind it, but I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of let you explain it, that the Chicago Bulls, you got the Chicago Bulls making the playoffs. Is that correct? Don't let me put words in your mouth.
Yeah, that's essentially it. I mean, it's hilarious because of where the team is. It is not the scenario that I want. I actually think that it is worst case scenario for the Chicago Bulls. But you have a team that is playing some of the best basketball that we have seen them play while still losing a lot of games.
Yeah.
But none of the teams behind them are winning enough to take the spot. Now, if all of a sudden, we've seen Philly kind of win a couple here and there, but it hasn't really been enough. I don't expect us. I think we could lose the rest of these games and still make the play-in tournament. And the Bulls are not laying down and dying. And I think that's the part where a lot of other teams may. But the Chicago Bulls are going after it. Look at last night's game versus the Orlando Magic. In crunch moments, they're trying to make big stops. In tough runs where the other team goes, they fight their way and claw their way back into the game.
Yeah.
You're putting on playoff traits right now in games that shouldn't matter. And you've got guys that have been in this play-in tournament before, going back into this play-in tournament now with this mentality and not having the weight holding you back. Now, if you go up against an Orlando Magic team, which I think sits sixth right now, or
Orlando Magic are ninth, they're right ahead of us.
Are they ninth right now?
Yeah, they've fallen pretty well down. Yeah.
Oh dang, so they right above us then. So are the Hawks? How's the standings right now? Either way, everyone in the play-in tournament, the Bulls can beat. And I think that the Bulls will compete at a level that you actually need to compete at to win games in this play-in tournament. And that's going to lead you to 2 victories and a playoff berth where you immediately get clapped. And I keep saying, this is not best case scenario for the Bulls. This is actually worst case scenario for the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, especially the draft odds. Here's the thing, right? Let's because I get what you're rooted in as far as looking at the teams that the Bulls can beat that they would theoretically come up against in that play-in tournament, right? So right now, teams that are in the play-in: Miami Heat 7th, Atlanta Hawks 8, Orlando Magic 9, us at 10. So we'd face the Miami Heat, right? I think is that with 7-10 matchup.
No, it's 9-10, 7-8.
Oh yeah,
right?
it was 9-10 and 7-8, and then the loser of the 7-8 faces the winner of the 9-10 matchup.
Yeah,
that's how it works. So that means the Bulls have to right now beat the Magic and then beat either the Miami Heat or the Atlanta Hawks. I get it. Like we have beaten all those teams over the course of the season, right? And that's the danger of the play-in tournament, right? And falling in love with the play-in tournament is that, and be clear, the Bulls, the players and the coaches were never going to come out here and coach to lose, right? Now, I get you saying that they're building playoff traits, right? But I think we have to keep in mind the fact that this team has won 4 games since the beginning of February. Yes, they're building playoff traits. Even throughout that, they've still lost more games than they've won. So I still don't personally have them coming out the play-in tournament, but I do acknowledge that it definitely is a risk with where the Bulls are at right now.
Well, and I think that's the tough part about the play-in, right? Is it's a format of not that you have to win 50 games, but you got to win 2. I still don't think the Bulls are a good basketball team. I think that there's a complete lack of talent here, which is why they've lost majority of these last 8 games since the All-Star break, right? But if you're telling me when things get ramped up and it is a high level situation and I've got Josh Giddey actually closing out and doing the things that he needs to do to finish out a game, by the way, in a hard fought game where the Bulls should have lost. They won the game late yesterday, 125-123. The Bulls really should have lost that game because of a wide open 3-point shot by Paolo Banchero that he just missed it, and the Bulls didn't end up covering it. This is a team that actually, if Billy Donovan goes in there and say, hey, we need to look out for this, we need to close out on this, we need to make sure this doesn't happen again, they actually do it. That's the part I'm telling you. I'm not telling you that they're a great basketball team. What I'm telling you is when adjustments are being made over the course of these last 8 games and kind of how they've played here in the month of February, they're actually making them. They're doing the things that you would actually talk about a team that is winning doing. Now, if it ends up being a lack of talent, which it still could be, you're playing the Magic, you're playing Atlanta, you're playing the Magic. Like, that's the only team that's more talented than us in the play-in tournament. Atlanta is not good. I do have questions on, if you're going to get outworked or if the other team is going to have more talent than you. I think that the Bulls actually go into all of these matchups with a little bit of an advantage with how they've been playing, and that's weird to say. Uh-oh. We lose Hayes? Boy, Hayes internet. Somebody hit a telephone pole again. I guess I'll keep talking. Is he back?
Am I back?
Kind of. Not really. I hear you.
Who knows?
Somebody hit a telephone pole?
Who knows? Who knows if I'm back or not? But with that said, no. But I get what you're saying in it. But I look at this team and I'm like, the team still doesn't win the games that they're supposed to win. So I get it that Josh Giddey is playing. He can do the things he needs to do down the stretch. But the fact is we've seen a lot of games of everybody doing what they need to do down the stretch and still lose, right? These teams, especially in the Miami Heat, who don't have their own first round pick, they got more to fight for, right? So I get I'll never act like it's not a chance to the Bulls because you're in the play-in. That's the whole point of the play-in. It's a single elimination tournament. Anybody on any given night to win a basketball game, but I'm not worried about it right now. We'll see how the Bulls keep playing down the stretch of this game and how the other teams play, because the thing that I think you can always kind of fall victim to in late February, early March is that some teams just take their foot off the gas. Like some teams are like they're just pacing themselves, right? So, we got to see, because the Bulls are going all for it. The Bulls aren't pacing themselves, but I could see a world in which maybe the Atlanta Hawks are pacing themselves, maybe the Orlando Magic, which they don't need to be because they've been bad and injury ridden. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, anything's possible, and that's kind of the dangerous spot that the Bulls have put themselves in, because they could very well make it out this play-in tournament, get completely and utterly destroyed by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then we're stuck there with no lottery pick at all, right?
Yep.
So that's the part that you got to look at it and worry about. I think when this all comes down and said and done is what that's going to look like, and that's what we're going to get into next. Is that if the Bulls do, what the implication is on the draft situation? Because I still think, and I started thinking about this and looking at this last night after you mentioned this, is that there's still some players in this particular draft that if the worst case scenario does happen, they could still get some studs in there, right? And so we'll talk about some of that in this as well. But this is what I want to ask you. For it to happen, right, it means that not only the players have to play well, Billy Donovan has to coach well. And so when you're looking at this possible Nikola Mirotic situation, right, that's the tactic that we're going to call this. Who do you think would have to be? And keep in mind, Vooch at some point I would think is going to come back. Who's the player that you're worried about the most getting on a hot streak that could in the play and push the Bulls into the playoffs?
Oh, it's Kobe.
It's
Kobe. I mean, listen, Kobe White, what we saw last night is the kind of push you need. And I mean, when you look at this team moving forward, like you said, they haven't won the games that they should have won. I mean, like, honestly, they kind of have. They beat Philly, who they should have thrashed.
Golden State, they should have won. They got completely destroyed in the latter half of that game.
Well, I'm talking about just since the All-Star break.
That is since the All-Star break.
When did we play Golden State?
That's the
We
game
played
that
Golden State before the All-Star break.
It was before the All-Star
We
break?
played Golden State in before we played Detroit back-to-back.
Hmm.
But yeah, dog, like you talk about that Magic game. That's a game you should have been competitive in. Like it's kind of funny watching it because if a night like last night happens for 2 nights, we're gonna be
Golden
sitting here
State was
just
2
like,
days
oh,
after the
no.
trade deadline, my boy. Oh, you said All-Star, but I'm thinking trade deadline. That's what it is.
Yeah, All-Star game because
I'm thinking trade deadline.
they got thrashed right before the All-Star game. Remember that was the back-to-back drubbing of the
Detroit
Pistons. That that was a bad day. 71 to 29. Never forget that. My daughter's first game.
Yeah, bro, that was an ugly game, bro. That was a terrible game. But next up, we're going to talk about the implications potentially on the draft if the Bulls were to do the worst case scenario, which Pat laid out here. Call Pat the crisis advisor because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people right now that are in crisis over that. But first, we're going to get into a message from PrizePicks. And it would help if I had my PrizePicks ad up, but hey, that's the thing. That's what we do here. It is what it is. Basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with PrizePicks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With PrizePicks, you just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use, available in over 30 states, and lets you mix and match projections across different sports. This week, I'm selecting Luka Doncic for more than 25 points and Jason Tatum for more than 8 rebounds. PrizePicks makes it simple. You can set up your lineup in less than 60 seconds and stay engaged all game long. And when you win, your money hits your account in as little as 15 minutes, no waiting around. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. We're Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat. So let's say that this scenario that you laid out does happen. The Chicago Bulls, unfortunately, make the playoffs. They get completely, utterly destroyed by the Cleveland Cavaliers because, like, I don't even think, like, that's going to be one of them situations. Like, I don't know if you watch Reacher or not, where you punch the 7-foot guy in the face and he just looks at you like, all right, well, good job on you. You tried. And now they just completely destroy you. Well, and Fridays we did say we were going to start talking about prospects anyway. Who do you think is a target if the Bulls do win the playoff? I mean, not win, Jesus. They win the play-in and they go to the playoffs. So you still can think of, all right, this is a player I'm still cool with walking away with.
Come on, you know who my guy is.
Danny Wolf.
He's gonna be right in that range, baby. Go get him. Go get Danny Wolf, dog. I think that's why this is the one year where it wouldn't be worst case scenario. Now he need to stop. But actually, the last couple of games they've gotten thrashed, which is good. They lost to Illinois and they just lost to Maryland. I don't remember who they played the other day. But this is the weird part about this kind of draft, and honestly, last year's draft, right? Like if this had happened last year, you could have ended up with a guy like TSJ in last year's draft. Like there was some solid late first round pieces that ended up going. But yeah, man, listen, I think that you've got a 7-foot freak out there who can handle the basketball the way that he does. He's not the number one option on the team. And he's shooting the 3 ball incredibly efficient. He's rebounding incredibly well. And defensively, I think that there's some really, really good traits that just make sense for him. And man, I think that he would be an obvious candidate for somebody who could be going that late. And I'd be excited to see, him in a Bulls jersey. He's somebody that I've locked in on.
Yeah, it really depends because I get it right now. We're just talking about we're of course pre combines and all stuff like that. But I think that Danny Wolf has a chance to be rise up. You remember this time last year they had Zach Edey going in the second round. You saw how that worked out, right?
Yeah.
So
I remember I'm like, nah, bro, Zach Edey gonna go higher. He ain't gonna be that good. But he gonna go higher. You like he shouldn't be drafted.
yeah. He's just Zach Edey's playing pretty good.
He's
but just can't play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, just shout out to Zach Edey for keeping me in this stake bet with Joel.
But Danny Wolf was probably the one for sure. Some mocks have Derrick Queen going that low. I don't think that's going to be the case by the end of it. No. Yeah, I don't see Derrick Queen going lower than 12th, to be honest with you.
And you want to know, I'll say this, dog. you almost have to look at kind of where the league is going and then look at the players available. Bigs are going to be a commodity, a hot commodity in this draft because of all these mugs that are big men, all the freaking like Chet Holmgren, all the Wimbies, all of these new bigs that are coming into the game. So yeah, Danny Wolf to me is a high pick in my mind.
Yeah, Danny Wolf. If Danny Wolf is there at like 15, 16, I feel not as confident as like a Derrick Queen, because I don't think he has the upside of a Derrick Queen. But as far as getting a guy in there that could start and be just a solid center for you for years, I like Danny Wolf there. And I think he has more upside than what some people are giving him credit for as well. My guy, though, if the Bulls somehow go into the playoffs, Hugo Gonzalez is still a guy that I think could be. Now, it's another guard/wing. And there's those questions there, but I still look at him as having so much upside potentially in this draft that I wouldn't mind if the Bulls were to draft him. I think he has tremendous upside. I think he can be. I'm drawing a blank on the comp right now. But he can be a really good player in this league. Guard that gives effort on both sides of the ball, has some huge scoring upside and potential, has good positional size as well. I like Hugo Gonzalez there, but Jeremiah Fears is another one that could go around that range. It's just that he's a point guard. So, a lot of people around that range are point guards, but I like Fears a lot as well, potentially in that place.
Listen, another name, and we brought this up last week, but a name that I think is probably not going to get more love, but probably should, is Thomas Sorber. Thomas Sorber, what he's done, first off, chipping in on the offensive end, he's been very, very solid, extremely efficient. Just a guy. He does not shoot the three. He is a big, right? He is a traditional big, but runs the floor extremely well, and defensively is a monster. And I think that you can't, if you land in this position where you do make the playoffs, you're landing around the 18 to 20 range, because I think we get crushed immediately. Names like this are the ones that I would like to see the Bulls come out of the draft with, because it's a guy that just does his job and does his job well. Go with the guys that you know. Right? I don't need no guesswork, 18 to 20. We did that with Dalen Terry. Meanwhile, I'm watching Walker Kessler run up and down the court.
I think Thomas Sorber is a lot bigger of a question than you're giving him credit for, to be honest with you. I think he's a huge question mark. I think, on the collegiate level, he goes about and does his job, but I don't think that a lot of those mechanics, I don't think his strength is going to translate to the NBA level right away. I think there are more questions than you do when it comes to Sorber. I still like the talent there, but I still think he's closer to a Dalen Terry than a Walker Kessler than you're giving credit for.
No. Dalen Terry was never dominant in college.
I don't see Thomas Sorber as dominant, bro. He's good.
Thomas Sorber been dominating. He been hooping, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't look at it. I don't view it as dominant. Like, again, that's just my personal thing. But I just think when you look at that translating to he has legit size, right? 6'10", 255 pounds. So he does have legit size. I just worry about, is he one of those players that's been able to do what he's done because of his size? And I just don't see the skill that's needed to really thrive at the NBA level. But hey, I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again.
You said Zach Edey was going in the second round. No, I was playing. Zach
Edey looks like somebody you should have gone in the second round.
Nah, he's not averaging 10. He's averaging just close enough to 10 to say he's averaging 10. And that's all I need to get a stake out.
Yeah, but the thing was Zach Edey,
he is unplayable in the floor.
Bro, Zach Edey, he's cool, right? He's cool, but like, he's one of those players that I can see starting for 3, 4, 5 years, and the whole time the team's just like, eventually we'll get a different starter than Zach Edey.
He got to get better footwork. I don't know if that's gonna happen. That's the one thing about it. Like, his whole game is predicated on I'm a monster. Get out of my way.
He's Lurch. He's Lurch with skill.
He is Lurch. That's exactly what
he's thriving off that. Shout out to the young man for thriving, bro.
Hey man, be aggressive. That's what I like. You know what I mean? I like the fact that day one somebody knocked John Moran on his butt, and Zach Edey was like, "Well, I guess we got to fight." Like, wait a minute, hold on.
And listen, in that part of it, I would love to have that on this team, because we still, to this day, people get knocked down and everybody's just like, You good? That was
Yeah,
messed up.
I
He
don't
knocked
get
you down
that.
like that.
We gotta find some. We did this.
Zach Collins got it a little bit, but it's like you can't have G-Eazy being the one trying to check people on your team.
Yeah, bro. G-Eazy. Hey, he been scoring G-Eazy. Well, I guess not till
not last night.
Not last night. Hey, they was on their heels. They was on the Bulls' bigs heels.
Bro, they couldn't do anything, bro. The moment any type of physicality, boom, a whistle. Like, what the hell? I was
like, are we really blowing this many whistles for Wendell Carter Jr.? Like, what are we doing right now, bro?
Yeah, for sure.
The refs was wild, and we
How
still
does this thing keep going back to the?
Huh?
I didn't update the last topic. You're good. Go ahead.
All right. Before we get to the final topic, I do got to tell you guys all about FanDuel. We'll talk more about that coming up next. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started. There's no better place to get in on that action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on the fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in on the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into same game parlays. Here's the thing about using FanDuel. They have the live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether you're backing your favorite team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three, it never feels like you missed the chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
All right, Pat, before we get up out of here, man, I want to look a week ahead for the Chicago Bulls. We know we got a game against Saturday against the Miami Heat. Got to check in with this because we know you had the Bulls winning like 3 more games the rest of the way. So we got Miami Saturday.
They won 3 already. I don't know what to do anymore. I said they was going to win 3 games.
We got Miami Saturday, the Pacers again on Monday, Brooklyn on Thursday, and the Houston Rockets the following Saturday. That takes us to midway through March. At that point, we have a month left in the season. How many wins do you have the Bulls getting over those 4 games?
Brooklyn.
That's it?
Yeah, Brooklyn. That's it. I still think they're not a talented enough team. Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. Like a lot of this does come down to just, are you going to have better players at the end of the game when the game is over? And the Bulls don't. They have good role players right now. They're a spunky team. They are the team that AK said he can win an NBA championship with. Yeah. Just a bunch of good players that are all doing their job the right way. We can't even win the month of February. But AK got us winning a championship that way.
You know, with 9 or 10 really good guys, you can win a championship.
Said the Detroit Pistons that 1 year in 2004.
Even then, that's a lot more than just really good guys. Like that. Don't get me wrong. Like they had some. It wasn't like they had the superstar level talent, but like it was more than just some really good guys on that team. Yeah, I don't know what AK was smoking there, bro. Like AK.
Never seen it done. But hey, it makes sense.
I think AK been visiting some of those dispensaries on the west side. I think is what's been happening. Bro.
It's so funny when people think like that, and I think that's what scares me, because to me it is a mindset of just trying to get people in the door to make money. Which, listen, like I said, this team is fun. They're worth watching, but they're not a winning basketball team, and they're not going to be. And you look at how basketball is played out over the decades. Jordan ruled the 90s with Hakeem, who's also a superstar, getting a couple in there when he retired. Okay. Then what? Kobe. Then what? Duncan. Then what? Random Pistons championship that has thrived in AK's mind.
So basically he's saying AK's betting that he can put together the team that's the 1 out of every 30-year team. That's what he's hoping for.
Yeah.
That random 1 out of every 30-year team that you're just like, they won a title?
I don't even know if it's 1 out of every 30, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, because you go back before the 90s, it was just Lakers and Celtics. Like, it was just like,
that's true.
It was just the Lakers and the Celtics. A random Warriors title in there if you get to Wilt.
That's crazy.
But Wilt, like, it's a star-driven league. Find stars.
No, you just need 9 or 10 really good guys, Pat.
Now, maybe don't mortgage the entire future on stars. I mean, a lot of Zion Williamson love out here. I see you just fighting people off on Twitter every day,
bro. Just dumb stuff, bro. Just you know what? The Bulls season has really put the dang, bro. Basically one every 30 years. Who was on that Washington Bullets team in 1977?
Freaking no, it's a superstar on there, bro. I can't think of his name. Oh my God.
Hold on.
That's gonna piss me off.
Let's see. Who was that roster?
Washington Bullets NBA championship. We really doing this? That's how bad it's been.
Greg Ballard,
Elvin Hayes.
Huh?
Elvin Hayes.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
You know what I mean? Like, you still need a superstar to win.
Yeah, but was he still a superstar at that time? It was like, I don't think he was still a superstar.
What year is that? He was the leading scorer on that team. Yeah, 77. He in the prime of his career. 77. He 31.
Well, all right. Well, there you go.
What was he averaging? 23 points a game. Back then, he basically scored all the points.
That's crazy, bro. So yeah, just so the one team in NBA history that did it, and like I said,
it's
even
literally
then,
the Pistons.
Yeah,
and even then, I mean, now they've turned a lot of them into Hall of Famers. Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer. Chauncey Billups is a Hall of Famer. So can you even say that those guys aren't Hall of Fame? Yeah, I mean, like, can you say that they had stars? But we watched that game. Yeah, I mean, that was bro, we tweaked. Wes Unseld on that team, dog. Come on, the original one, not the son that's running around here.
Yeah.
Mitch Kupchak. Can I interest you in a Kupchak?
We got to get up out of here, bro.
All right, bro, let's get out of here.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Locked On Bulls. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. LockedOnBulls@gmail.com. We're free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, and more. We'll see you guys on Monday. Peace, y'all.
What you know about a Bob Dandridge, bro?
That's crazy.
Went up against Jack Sigma.